Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Fired up. I tell you, man, it's been a great Monday so far. Crushed chest this morning, and I had a lot of fun actually to just hear that my gym is making some renovations. We have some old equipment in there, and sometimes trying to figure out how to do some exercises have been challenging. However, just hearing the word of newness really gets me excited. So the YMCA is upgrading. Yes, let's go. All right. Well, today is on second thought. So we're going to bring Keith in and really go ahead and elaborate more on this subject. Now, when you start thinking on second thought, it's something of second guessing ourselves, right? And really having that judgment of ourselves or judgment of others and how we handle it and how we responded to those judgments. And so a lot of times we dictate our life on what others will judge us of, or what others will judge us on. And that could be very damaging, right? Because, we can think about past experiences where that happens and we'll run away. What's going on, Stephanie? We'll run away because of the fear of that pain again. And we don't want to feel that again, right? So we're going to talk about really how to identify that first of all, and where that shows up in your life. And then also some strategies of what we found to really help us to move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and get Keith on here. What's up, brother? How we doing, man? Oh, it's still adding. Let's go. Got the Muscle Mania shirt on today. Good. All right, Keith, what up, man?
Yes. I like this topic.
Yes. What's up, man?
Uh-oh.
Still got
awesome. Me? Yeah, I got you. Your whole screen went blank.
Hey! Now, let's go. So, on second thought.
So all right, good.
We talked about this. So let's go ahead.
You're breaking up, man. You good now?
Pick up in a second. I actually, I'm good, yeah.
Awesome. So
you good?
What we woke up to receiving this morning was on second thought. And the reason why we say on second thought, and it may not be what initially comes to mind, but on second thought, the second thought is the reaction you have when you see something that questions either your ability, your identity, your self-worth, and then where you go from that point. And so what we have found is that because we're out there asking people a lot of questions, putting people on blast, holding them accountable, and getting them to go into their uncomfort zone, we get a lot of different responses, and it's not always pretty. And it's something that, to the effect of, the best analogy I can use is that when I was growing up as an athlete and going into tryouts, and how you reacted from a tryout, or how you were taught to react from an early age to a tryout, and if you didn't make that team, and how it felt not to make the team, and what you did because of it. How did you react or respond because of it? And so that's the part where we talk about on second thought. I know for me, it would be kind of a struggle. I never questioned my ability. I always had great confidence. And that was when I was deciding whether I was worth it or not, or I was great enough. But whenever it came to somebody else's determination of whether or not I was worthy, and how they treated me in that situation, the voices and the stories that went on inside my head were not always the healthiest. And it took me a while to recover. Now I've carried that into adulthood, but now knowing I can rewrite the rules for that, it's an area that I'm definitely going to pay more attention to and gain more clarity on, because it still hits me the same. So, for example, when I'm putting out information, or when I'm asking somebody a difficult question, and they come back with an answer that questions my credibility or my ability or my experience, that I feel that right in the gut. It's like getting punched below the belt. And it's something that freezes me or causes me to second guess myself. So that's the second thought. And if I don't follow my own rules and make sure that I change my physiology or ask what else could this mean, it will really set me back. And so what I've committed more to is to be aware of those times, and not just create the awareness to create awareness, but also remember that there is a tool that we can use to either prepare ourselves to receive those answers, and then remind ourselves to ask, what else could this mean? But also when we do receive an answer that isn't as valuable or isn't the one we thought we would get or like the most, what can I now do? And so for me, it's changing my physiology. I know exactly how to do it. I have to make sure that I remind myself how to do it and keep it in front of me. So if I don't get the answer I want, or I'm experiencing a feeling that I don't desire, what can I now do to change that? And for me, it's changing physiology. So get up, do jumping jacks, do squats, do push-ups, jump around, turn on music that I like. Go ahead and look at affirmations if I can't do any of those things. For some of you, you're sitting at a desk and this happens. For some of you, you're in an office or a public space. You can't necessarily drop down and do push-ups. Well, Aaron may do that.
Well, you can.
But you can, right?
Yeah.
It may not be most appropriate for some of our business professionals to do that. But what you can do is carry around a little affirmation card, a card that affirms your self-worth and gets your physiology and your feelings back in order, so that you don't get taken out of the game because of somebody else, because of their story, because of their misunderstanding of what's going on, or they don't value you appropriately. And so what I would recommend is either having this affirmation card, or if you're in a place, changing your physiology when it happens. I know that's what I'm going to focus on. And Aaron, where has that come up for you? Because we're out there, hundreds of thousands of people a week, information in front of them, the hard questions. I know it must come up.
It does. It comes all the time, because this is the thing, right? We're always pushing ourselves to be better. And, you know, this subject actually brings me back to my football days, you know, when talking trash was the thing to do. And the reason for talking trash is it's really planting seeds in the opponent's mind, right? And helping them to start to focus not on what their job is, but what the talk is talking, right? So this can be a big distraction. And a lot of times, for those who aren't structurally, minded and grounded in their belief and their abilities, by talking trash to someone can throw their game off, right? And they can't get back, because by the time they figure it out, the wide receiver's gone. He called the ball a touchdown. And now it's like, oh, man, And so it really reminds us that we're always being judged. We're always being judged, right? It's just, how valuable is that judgment to you? All right, in regards to who's judging. And it includes ourselves. We always judge ourselves. And that's where we have to forgive that. We have to forgive that feeling, right, of failure. And a lot of people will quit because they say, you know what, I knew I couldn't do that. And now that could be a self-talk thing. I knew I couldn't do that. Or they're getting it from the environment they're around, right? And everybody's saying, see, I told you you couldn't do it. I told you you couldn't do it. Or, yeah, you can never do that. That doesn't make any sense. You've never done that before. How could you do that? That doesn't, you don't know what you're doing. Right? And all of a sudden, all those words and those comments start to become who you actually are, and it dictates how you react or actually not take action. Okay? And so what I've been able to do when that thought comes into my mind of judgment is I quickly go to my Lord. I quickly go to my Lord, because I know that our God has created all of us in perfection. Right? It says in likeness of him. And I'm not preaching to you guys, but I'm just telling you my faith and my truth, right? And so when I'm talking about the Lord here, I know, right, that he created me in perfection. And so there is no judgment other than his judgment that's valuable to me. So not even my own. And so I quickly go to the word, and I read and I read and I read and I pray and I pray and I pray. And I do that because I know that there's something greater than me that created me to be great. And so that quickly reminds me that no matter what judgment may be coming from the outside, even on the inside, there's only one judgment, right? And it's whether or not it's going to make him happy, right? It's going to make him proud of me, okay? And that's what I live for every single day in what I do, right? And so when I go out there and I seek service to give to others, that's where I'm living from. Even though I may not have done it before, it doesn't matter, right? If it's true in my heart and something that I desire to do, right? I'm going to go figure it out, because I know that I have that strength in my faith to go out there and do the unseen, do the unknown, right? And have that truth. But that took time. It took trust. it took repetition and believing in that I can pick up, my good book, right? My daily act, this right here, starting my day off right, my devotionals, this book really, really helps me set my tone. And I just continue to feed my mind those powerful words that I know are valuable and they're powerful in life. And so that's how I quickly remove myself. And then also, if I need to do a power move, I learned this from my cousin Rod Hairston, and I learned it from some of the greatest speakers in the world. Get in that, boom, yes, let's go. Or even when we get pumped up to go to a game, right? We start patting each other on their back. They're like, let's go, guys, we got this. And so what we're doing, just like Keith talked about, is we're changing that physiology. We're changing the body language, right? We're getting that circulation, as Peter Kelly says, circulating energy, and starting getting all that juices flowing and changing from that state of judgment to that state of power, right? And domination, and saying, you know what, I am me. And there's only one that can be me, and is me. And I'm going to choose to show up at 100%. So, this is a great subject. And, that second thought is just really, a test. How bad do you want to do what you said you want to do? How bad are you willing to go through the pain? What are you willing to, what did you say, Keith? What are you willing to go through, right? What's your pain threshold? What are you willing to do for that you're going to have to go through? Like that's the big thing. And so that second thought's always going to live in your mind. You have to find what's right for you. What gets you out of that state, of confusion and distraction, and puts you right into the state of action. That's what we're talking about here.
I love it. And let's check in.
We got some comments.
Let's check in. I know the good man, MJ Durkin, is checking in, man. He's a legend in the network marketing and connection business. I've transformed my language because of that, man. Listening to his audio, seeing his daily message and motivation every day. So thank you, MJ. You are a huge contribution to this world. And he talks about changing physiology works. That's why he recommends wearing a headset, walking around when making your prospecting calls. Yes, you're not sitting still. And this man makes calls all day long. And he has a whole team of people that believe in him and do it as well. And so we see that there's Stephanie Gish-Sherrod is on there. She loves it. Evelyn, I can do it. I can do anything. You rock, dude. God is great. She's talking about you, Aaron. And we also have Maria Sabaris on there. I don't know you, but I think you're awesome. Aaron, we got some fans, right? What would you like to hear more of when we show up in this capacity, especially on a call like today, or allow us to understand what areas you may be struggling through the most? Where do you second guess yourself, and what's that emotional home that you go to when it happens? So when you feel that you're getting that virtual, punch to the gut, what does it do to you? And what emotional home do you return to? There's got to be something there that you're returning to because it's familiarity. And remember, we will sacrifice our goals and dreams for familiarity. That's a very dangerous place to be. I've been there. Aaron's been there. A lot of people on this broadcast have been there. It's paralyzing. And when that familiarity is pain, our body goes through changes that we have to fight to get through. And that, even if you want to grow. So what I'm looking forward to now is when these situations come up, how I'm going to view them, and from a physical standpoint is the best analogy I can use is that's my lifting partner putting 10 more pounds on each side of the bar and saying, let's go, let's lift. It's time. So when you're being challenged, when your beliefs are being challenged, what's going to happen is, or do you believe in it enough? Do I have the faith to move forward in this? And what am I willing to endure to get what I want and get what I desire and deserve? And that's really where I'm gonna put my focus on and gain clarity on this week, because we all get beat up. We're all out there getting beat up, and that's why we stay as strong as we do. And so it's so important to remember that you're not the only one. Stop being selfish. Those are not your thoughts. They're the mind's thoughts, right? And that second thought could determine your outcome. And if you have that second thought keyed up to come in, no matter what the answer is, then you're also going to come from a place of gift. And it's not going to be this barter thing. I'm going to feel a certain way because somebody else said something to me. It's I'm going to feel a certain way because I'm in charge. This is my body, this is my brain, this is my spirit. I am operating from source. And if I'm seeking truth, then no matter what you say isn't going to affect me one way or the other. And Aaron, like you said, you don't care, but you care more than they know. So if you're in a truth-seeking stage as opposed to a justice-seeking stage, then no matter what that person says, it's not going to affect you one way or the other. It's just going to identify whether or not they are ready for you to serve them and at what level. That's all you're looking for, is level of service.
Right, and it goes back to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never hurt me. That concept, right, is where we just need to realize that we are in charge. And I love, Keith, how you talk about making the rules. Like, you make your rules. You dictate how you're going to respond. And you are 100% responsible. You are accountable for that, right? And so once you can forgive yourself for allowing external sources to come in and dictate how you show up, once you make that decision and you make that declaration saying, listen, this is no longer going to happen. I state the rules right now that I will no longer accept outside sources that don't serve me. Once I declare that, right, you go forward in that. Now, let me warn you, when you say that, stuff's going to show up. Stuff's going to show up more than you thought it would. It doesn't just go away, right? It sets the tone for what's upcoming. But here's the cool thing about it. I know you all
Aaron's breaking up. His energy broke the broadcast.
I'm back. You got me? Keep. Come on. No. Are y'all there? Keith. We still on? Mm-hmm. Off and see if he can invite him back. So what I was saying is a lot of you may have seen the analogy for an iceberg, right? And the tip of the iceberg. What we're talking about here is when you make that declaration that you're no longer going to allow outside sources to dictate how you show up in your life, the rest of that iceberg is going to show up, okay? And so with that being your warning, know this, be excited about this, because this is where you're going to start to grow, right? You're going to start to identify things to really grow into what it is that you need, all right, to show up in your life right now. And so you'll start to attract some amazing things and some amazing people that are going to hold you accountable to what you said to hold true, right? And so don't be fearful, okay? Be fearless in regards to your life and what you want to accomplish. Because a lot of times people are just testing you so that they can decide for themselves if they have what it takes. Okay, so don't always take the outside source as a negative. Look at it as a positive. Those individuals are waiting for you to go first, and so show them a way. Lead the way. Okay, just like Keith says, what does this message mean? What is there? There's other more meanings here, right? And so awesome. Yes, awesome. You guys are here. Thomas says, the faith as to be consistent, especially when you are scared, right, and looking to run away. Right? Fear of success and fear of will crush us. Exactly. So be fearless. Be fearless and just take it one step at a time. I always go back to forgive yourself for the mistakes that you're going to make. Forgive yourself for the failures that you're going to incur. However, as long as you keep getting up and keep fighting, right, and you get a brand new day, then you get a new 24 hours to go out there and make it better. And so don't allow others to judge you or even yourself to judge you. Let that one judgment be the decision that you made to move forward with courage and belief and pride and confidence, going forward with people that you know are going to win with you and know that you can win with them. And that's the key, right, Keith? We always want to surround ourselves with those things. And so with that being said, Keith, you want to sign us off, brother?
Yeah, absolutely. We're giving you permission to grow here. This is not only our halftime speech for the day, but this is permission to grow as well as your fertilizer. So we've created awareness. We've given you tools and techniques. I love all the comments. That's exactly what we're looking for. That allows us to be on our game. It affirms that we are in alignment with the people that are showing up. And so for the hundreds of people that showed up and watched this video live, I commend you. I thank you for the likes and love. For all those rock stars out there that are starting to show up on our feed, this is awesome. It's amazing. It's actually what we're looking for, and we will thrive off of this, all of us together as one team. And for the hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be viewing this secondhand, shared all over the world, we thank you too for showing up. Continue to like, love, and comment. This video will stay live. We will get back to your comments, and we appreciate all of you. Now let's get out there and grow.
Love you guys. Let's crush this thing. Have a great week.